I am now going to show you the insert part of this this top. So the insert is added after the front is done, and it goes in this part right here. When I first made this, I was super confused with the instructions because the picture looked like it was backwards. So this is this page here, which is page 12. So what you do is you take your two pieces of the insert. I used my outer fabric, and then I used a different color for the lining because this is a custom fabric, and I didn't want to waste custom fabric on the inside of my garment where no one's going to see it. So what you do, you take your pieces and you put them right sides together, and then you just I just use my serger to serge along the top. And then all you do is you fold it back out this way and give it a good press. One thing you want to make note of is so that especially if you are using a different color fabric on the back, you want to make sure when you press it that you make sure you give yourself a little bit of a lip so that when the garment is being worn, the lining is not going to show on the front side. So you can see I've ironed it. When I pressed it, I made sure there was a bit of a lip on it. Then what I've done is I've made some 1-inch square. You can make these any size you want. In fact, you can even make these little things any shape you want. I've seen people do stars and circles and other fun things. If you have like a cricket or a silhouette, you could even use that for cutting out your appliques. I just used my ruler and rotary cutter though. I made these 1-inch square. If you're doing a bigger one on a bigger size, you could probably make them a little bit bigger, but since this is a toddler size, I made them on the smaller size. And then on these, I've also put some stabilizer on the back. I've used a woven stabilizer. SF101 is the one I've used. I use that one for bag making, so that's just what I have on hand. But I like it because it's quite structured. Because these are going to have grommets in them, you want to have a structured woven stabilizer behind it. Otherwise, you're going to stretch this, and those grommets are going to pop straight back out again. So just to be on the safe side, what I've done is I've used a little bit of it on the. Let's pull this off. I've used it on the back I've ironed it onto the back of each piece, and then I've also used it on the back, on the back side of that too, because the grommet is going to only go through this front layer. So that's the only part where you need to have it stabilized. To attach these temporarily, I've just used some Wonder Tape, and so that will just come off in the wash. But what we'll do is we'll top stitch, do a square top stitch, and then all around the outside of this square, and then I'll do a diagonal line, a crisscross pattern down the center before using the grommets. One other thing to note about this, if you're kind of confused about how this works, the reason we don't go right to the back is because this is going to be your this is going to be the inside of your shirt, and you need the tunnel space for the cord to go through. You can also do a faux cord, which is what I'm going to do with this one. But yeah, that's sort of how that's going to work. Okay, that's it. Now I have finished doing my top stitching on the grommet tabs, and I'm going to now I'm actually going to use my embroidery scissors because I have an awl, but it never works that well for me. You can also get, if you've got like a little punch thing, you can use that too. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making a hole right in the center of my cross, and into that hole, carefully make that hole until it's big enough for my grommet to fit in. There's the front, and what I want to do is make sure that this back part fits in. It's a little bit smaller. I'm going to be pressing it with my my press. You can also use the Joann's and the fabric stores sell little kits which you use your hammer with, and you have like a tool, and it comes with some grommets in it. I've used them, and I just suck with those things. I could never get them to work properly. I ended up with squish grommets, and they just look terrible. So I know some people have a lot of success with them, but it's just not going to work for me. So I was able to get one of these from my parents for my birthday this year. So I love it a lot. It is the Cam press. Now I think you might be able to get these on eBay too, and they don't have the Cam brand. They seem pretty generic to me, so I don't know. Maybe they're all different. Maybe they're all super special. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, I got it from Cam. You can get it with a special bundle. I got one which has the grommets in it, and I also got with the plastic snaps, because I had the plastic snap tool, the hand one from had the Babyville, which I was told was made by Cam, and I had the Cam snaps, but those suckers would never go in for me properly. It was just really hard to get them aligned perfectly, and so I was glad to just get this and have it be able to do all of it, and now I don't have to just mess around with it because it works properly the first time. So I'm going to go and I'm going to work on this, and I will show you the results when I'm done. Okay, so I want to show you how I've done this grommet. I haven't yet pressed it yet, but I've made a hole and I've put the grommet through it, and I've cut it like that there. Notice how I have only done it in the top layer. I have not done it in the bottom layer. One thing that you should do is once you've put this in, just to give it a little bit of extra help, I would suggest putting some fray check around it before you press the grommet. That because I've snipped the stitches to get that in now, and I'm just worried that maybe the stitches might fall out. So fray check just for a bit of extra peace of mind there before pressing it. I realized I missed a step. If you were planning to make this sweater with faux drawstring, you need to actually start putting that on when you are doing when you're actually sewing the tabs on. So I'm gonna have to just fudge it. If you're doing it for small children under about age 7, I think these are supposed to be no longer than 7.5 centimeters. So I think it's about what, 4 inches, 3 inches, something like that. So check the laws in your country as if you're selling to make sure you're compliant. If you're not selling, then it's up to you. So just use your best judgment. Now, so yeah, what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut these to length, and then I'm going to carefully top stitch over where I did the decorative top stitching here, and I'm going to top stitch back over that to make sure that this piece gets stitched down onto this this piece right here.